Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed part 2. Today we're in part 3, we're going through more of the same. More color therapy, what it means, more into the meaning about pretty much everything in it. So enjoy. Don't forget, empower your life's quest. Love it.
So take a look at this, we've got many colors here. Can you imagine, can you see how we kind of went from the inside and just opened it up? And
Yeah,
how
we've
on
been
the
through
blue
this
now.
stuff, right? Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
had a strange calling to leave these white.
well, you know what that is? White is the color of absence of color.
Yes.
It's the color of purity. It's the white is where we get to see all being. It's the truth, it's the light, it's the love, and its energy is pure. So can you imagine when we can balance out our physical and spiritual, that white light becomes that beautiful, pure light of protection. It knows there is no harm, only pure knowledge. And that comes into play when we talk about you and the balance that you want to bring. So take a look at your whole mandala as a whole. You have white that comes up in your circles. Take a look at it. Where you have your peacock feathers almost, right? You got white. Yeah. And so I'm going to skip to that because that's what's calling me right now.
Okay.
So
we're talking about, can you see my mouse on the screen right here?
Yes.
This is what we're talking about, correct?
Yeah, we'll come back to the other colors, but you know what that signifies to me is that your indigos, the purples, surrounded with light, is spirituality encapsulated in the purest of light. And again, balance, surrounded with the intellect and energy. So if you go out from the purple to the white, to the red, to the yellows, to the greens, it's the center of you now blossoming from energy center to spiritual center. You see that?
Yeah.
And the ability for you to discern that we all are, you are, the people that you're going to be coming into contact with are the essence of spiritual being. So if we were to take a look at that, the white is the truth. It is also the kindness that we bring to this world. And if you take a look at how you balance that out throughout your whole mandala, it's that ability to watch that soul literally open up and be the conduit for receiving.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I strive for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the balance of where you're at, indigo blue is a very spiritual color. The
Are we
indigo
talking about right
blue.
Here?
Yes, now we're back in. So that's the turquoise blue. Let's go back to the internal side. Your center
right
again, one more time. To the center, that blue, that indigo blue. Okay, blues are the communication. I mean, it is direct relationship to your throat and your communication. And the importance of you speaking your truth, and the importance of you being able to actually not only speak your truth, but speak what is inside so that others can hear it. Okay. And with that balance, with indigo, what I want you to be, so from the dark side of indigo, I want you to understand that with the dark blue, you may or may not have some trouble where you go into depression, okay? Or you're thinking too much. And when you think too much, you may go into a darker mood, okay? On the opposite side of that dark mood is that want and the need to be spiritually connected. In indigo blue, we find wisdom. In indigo blue, we find self-mastery. In indigo blue, we find spiritual realization. And so as you work to balance out your life, you now expand a little bit more to include that connection with the spiritual realm. Turquoise is that connection with the spirit also. And so it's interesting how your turquoise surrounds your full mandala, which encapsulate the want and the need to be a spiritual being.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's everything again is spot on for sure. And that's definitely something that I've been working with is balancing the who I give my energy to and why I give them the energy that I do. You know, I used to be able to just talk to anybody who would listen, but now it's like who actually listens, you know, and just doesn't hear. So I've definitely been doing that. And when I'm moving through and dealing with different types of people in different types of energies, it's like, who can handle it, who can't handle it, who can reciprocate it, who can't reciprocate it. And there's like a lot of different dynamics that are coming into my life where I'm like learning how to like navigate through who's able to reciprocate the energy. And not only that, understand me on a different level.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally. And then, yeah, when you said we talk about the spiritual journey on the outside with that bright blue turquoise, it's definitely another shift that I've had in my life. I've stopped wanting to talk to people just to talk to people. There's no, oh, look at the weather outside, it's nice and sunny. Oh, you know, let's talk about our dog. Let's talk about this. No, I want to talk about deeper things. What are your dreams? What are your desires? Who do you want to be? Like, the level of communication has deepened. And not only that, what I want to talk about has deepened as well. So totally spot on again.
You know, the other side of this beautiful turquoise, Brent, is that becomes the bridge between the finite and the infinite. The finite and the infinite. And the finite is from the analytical side. The infinite is what's possible.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, another thing is balance.
Yeah. And for you, take a look at that. It's your want. Okay. So your want to be as open to receive as possible. Open to receive as much as possible. And that is what majority of your blues and your greens are talking about. It's the wisdom in the spiritual side of your plane. Okay. And it exists. And so you ask, what's your passion? Your passion is not just learning. Your passion is also learning from that. What and how do I balance in life? And taking that and then helping you to impart that into the coaching clients that you may be taking. The ability that you now take, the passion is the knowledge that you want to share with everyone. Look at this. You're now into podcasts. You're doing interviews with people who can give you potentially another way to look at things, and taking what might be finite for the analytical eye, that perspective, and then saying, no, let's just open it up, just like your flower here. It's the opening up. And the fact that you have chosen a mandala that has circles and points and flows, and the mere fact that this flower is not closed, it's very open, also tells me that you're also on that spiritual journey to be open to what's coming to you. Okay? What's coming to you. And I'm going to also say this. In all of what we've talked about, what I'm also picking up on the answers to where am I going, how do I get to the next level, and what is my passion, all leads to the balance of your spirituality and the alignment of what's possible, the alignment of solitude, okay, and inner communication. Solitude and inner communication. What does that mean to you? Think about it. What would you say to that?
Solitude and inner communication, for sure. I've definitely been working on that a lot. You know, every situation that comes up as of recently. And when I say recently, I'd probably say within the past year, but you know, it's not something that you can just be like, oh, I think I want to think about everything that happens in my life and what the meaning is behind it and how it affects me and how you can look at it in a different perspective. It is not that easy. It is something that definitely has to be learned, because things happen to us on a constant basis, and our attention, your brain filters out what it doesn't necessarily know or pay attention to. So our social conditioning will point us in a direction where we have to pay attention to certain things. It's like if you're car shopping and you see a red Mustang, all of a sudden red Mustangs are everywhere. So it's like, how do I open up my perspective to see things differently? So I'll have my original perspective, but then I'll have this perspective, and then I'll have this one, and then, you know, Mamie told me her perspective, and I can look at it from that perspective now. So it's like all encompassing now, just being able to see different problems from different areas of my life and figure out the meanings behind things has been one of the coolest adventures that I've had. And, you know, you don't need anybody to do that for you. That's the coolest thing, is like things happen to you on a day-to-day basis. I can walk outside to the mailbox and I will have experiences out there. And no one else, even if my girlfriend walked out to the mailbox with me, our experience would be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because our perspectives are different. So being able to, like, that's one thing that I've loved doing recently is trying to step into somebody else's shoes and seeing how they see things. How do they, you know, purchase shoes? How do they pick their food, their grocery cart? I stare in people's grocery carts. I must look like a weirdo. I'm like, what is that? Oh, they have beets and orange juice. Like, what can you make with beets and orange juice? I have no idea. But it's just a fun thing. And I actually very, very, very much cherish my solitude. Like I've had a lot of points in my life where I have been alone. And, you know, it can be very awkward. You know, the silence is not comforting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But over the past year or so, I've definitely found a lot of comfort. And not only that, I've been able to enjoy myself. I'll sit in my pool and I'll get in the raft and I'll be reading or whatever. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm done reading. And I'll put it down and then I'll stare off into my woods. And I'll end up staring at a tree. You know, I take my watch off. You know, I check out when I go and read and stuff. That's my time. So when I'm done, you know, obviously I know what time I stopped reading. And I'll lay in the chair and I'll be staring at like a tree blowing in the wind. And then like the next thing I know, it's been almost 2 hours. And I'm like, all I did was stare at a tree blowing in the wind. But you know how many thoughts came through my head, how many thoughts left my head? And I just laid there and I was just being, and it's just incredible. And I'd highly recommend that everybody take a little time to themselves. No matter how busy you are, it doesn't matter. You can always find time for yourself. You just got to take away the excuse. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there, but I really like that. I really like what you said.
That's what finding that path is all about. I didn't have to answer it for you, hon. You just answered it for yourself.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I got the, what is my passion? And, you know, I guess I expected, you know, I didn't really know what to expect when that question came up. But it's funny because as I've gotten to the spirituality, I've kept like falling down different little rabbit holes. You know, there's so many complex ideas and thoughts that all encompass. We can talk about human design. Who came up with human design, and like how does it, you know, there's so many things within human design. And then you talk about mandala. It's the way you color, the colors you use, the patterns you use, the mandala you chose. There's so many dynamics that go into it. And I just interested in everything. I guess like my initial thought behind this question was like, maybe I'll get guidance on some way that I need to go. But now that we're talking about it, it's not. It's like my passion is spirituality. That's what it is.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, your whole mandala is about spirituality. It's about purpose. It's about faith. It's about intuition. It's about peace of mind. Yeah. It's about fulfillment, spiritually and physically. It's about the ability for you to know that your heart and mind are one, and that one without the other adds to the confusion in life, because if one is stronger than the other, we go down a certain path. And that's what balance is all about. So how do you take it to the next level? You got your answer. It's balancing.
Okay.
Yes, it's balancing.
Yeah.
And so